thought you faded off into the distance.
Yeah, was it like I was falling off a shelf?
It was a little bit. Welcome to the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick, and welcome back to the world famous Bottom of the Stream Movie Show, where we talk about movies
We do.
that are languishing,
Yeah.
lesser known
Lesser-known movies languishing at the bottom of the stream.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
Randomly selected each week.
Yep. By Robin the Randomizer selects us a movie, we go out and watch it, and then we come here and tell you what we thought of it.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's what
we
we've been
got
doing
this
for a
week?
long time. This week we've got a movie called Double World.
Double World.
Double World.
Double World.
It's from China.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's released in 2020. It's a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 50 minutes and is currently rated at 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Okay.
6.2?
A lot of work's gone into this movie.
That's very true. Another budget for this movie.
High.
$43 million.
Oh, do you know what?
Not as high as you'd think, is it?
They've used their money well.
They have indeed.
I will say, there are a couple of points where the CGI
Yes.
isn't great,
I think that's fair.
but that's more in sort of some of the detail in the fight scenes. I
Yeah.
think when you're sort of seeing, or we'll talk about it later, but especially like some of the long shots, I think they have spent the money well.
Yeah, there's beauty.
It looks like a
parts of
more
it are
expensive
beautiful.
movie than that.
Yeah, it does. I agree. This film stars Henry Lau. He plays a character called Dong Yalong.
Yep.
Great name. He's Canadian.
Really?
Yes.
Good
Um,
for him.
He's most famous as a musician.
Okay.
He was in a supergroup called Super Junior M, which was a Chinese spin-off of a Korean supergroup. As a child, as like a child star. Not a child, but like a teen star.
It's like
which he then left. He was the first one to leave, and then he was the Robbie Williams of this group. He was the first one to leave, and then it disbanded.
I'm really sorry to offend people, but in my head I've got like, so he was in like the S Club Juniors
Yes.
to the S Club 7.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly
this
what it was by the looks
situation.
of it. However, they do seem to have been very successful. He's in a movie that you might have seen.
Okay.
He's in A Dog's Life with Dennis Quaid.
I don't think I've seen it, but I have heard of it. So
He's in that.
there you go.
This film also stars a guy called Peter Ho. He plays Shu Yun.
Yep.
Chu Hun. He's American.
Oh, nice.
So this Chinese movie, there's no Chinese people in it. Written, I haven't got anything on him or anybody else, to be fair. They're written by Fendu Liu and Ning Wen and directed by Teddy Chan.
Okay.
This film was due a worldwide cinema release,
Okay.
but was cancelled due to the pandemic.
Interesting.
It was going to be China's big worldwide release of that year. But unfortunately, it was cancelled at the last minute and sold to Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any other interesting facts about this?
No. Do you? Sound like you do.
I have got one.
Okay.
And I was just keeping my powder dry in case you mentioned it. This movie is, in fact, an adaptation
Oh, okay.
of a video game.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
It
I
is.
did not pick up that on my research. I apologise.
It's, an adaptation of a MMORPG
Nice.
called Zengtu Online, which was a game which ran between 2007 and 2018.
Wow. Okay. That's early for an MMO.
Yeah. Its peak concurrent users was 1.5 million.
Wow.
So, if you were in the right place on Earth, this
was quite a
game
big deal.
was kind of a big deal.
Yeah. You can see that as well, can't you? When you look at it now, you can see where this sort of gaming aspects comes in from it.
Yeah.
It would have been like... Because it's basically, this film is Chinese Squid Game.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy Chinese Squid Game.
I mean, you've kind of ruined my one-word review.
Sorry, what's your one-word review?
Medieval Squid Game.
Sorry.
That's fine.
You can't look at this movie and not think Squid Game, though, can you? Because it's...
Yeah, apparently this game,
Yeah.
the video game, was one of the, better or worse, probably worse, most people would say, the pioneers of loot boxes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's worse, maybe, than
Yeah.
better, but...
That's
really interesting.
now we've got this movie.
We
from
have.
that. Yeah, so the game ended 2018, right into production of this movie, pretty much.
Yeah, probably. Came out in 2020.
Yeah.
Do you have a one-word review of it?
We've done that.
Oh, yeah.
I've thrown you by having a fact.
You have. I'm impressed with your fact. Where does this movie start, Nick?
Well, we've definitely got a theme so far this season in bottom of the stream, because you've got to do some reading.
You have. There's some writing on the screen. Unfortunately, I didn't get it this week because it moves quite quickly, this writing on the screen. So I've summarised it. Do you want to read my summary?
Yes, go for it.
2 areas had a war, got bored, had peace for 10 years. New leader got bored of the peace and started a new war.
Yes.
We
have
happened.
warring factions.
Yes, we do. There's like
a decade of peace is coming to an end.
Coming to an end because the new leader's bored.
Yeah.
Basically. So from there, we go into... there's some people bringing gifts to a... Is he a king or an emperor?
He's a young king, I would say. This
Yeah.
is our new leader who is ascended to the throne.
Yeah.
And I think it's fair to say is not being well advised.
Yeah, he's inexperienced and, like you say, he's being very poorly advised by some of his advisors.
And 2 subjects are presenting him a gift.
Yeah, there appears to be different communities all around his kingdom.
Yeah.
That don't...
Different clans.
That don't get on with each other. And I guess that's the gaming element comes in.
Yeah.
You choose which clan you want to be from. They're bringing him gifts and suddenly a fight breaks out.
Well, it's an assassination attempt.
Yeah, so they one of these gifts kind of explodes open.
Yeah,
and
it's
there's
like throw poison dust
all
over him.
over him.
And I was quite confused about what happened here. It's a very fast start to this movie.
The movie's very highly paced.
And one of the king's guards
Yeah.
saves him via blanket,
Yeah, it just chucks a blanket over him.
which kind of all the poison granules
Dust particles.
sort of are attracted to this blanket.
Yeah.
But again, this is probably some magical item from the video game.
Probably, yeah. It's very, very fast-paced start, and it doesn't really let up. It's very fast-paced most of the way through, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a massive fight breaks out.
Straight in there
the
with this
King's
action
chambers.
scene.
Yeah, it's... You know the sort of Chinese fight scenes that you're going to get. Lots of anti-gravity work going on, lots of massive swords being thrown around. A lady tries to flee and ends up getting eaten by what I've described as a dog lion bear.
I just put wolf dog. A man has his arm chopped off.
Yes.
Not good CGI.
Terrible CGI, to be fair.
Let's just do prosthetics.
Yeah.
Please, people.
Yeah.
And the king is advised after all this has calmed down that basically he's at risk because he doesn't have a grand field marshal.
Yes, he needs a grand field marshal.
Who's basically his head of security,
Yeah.
I think, or leader of his army.
Yes. So the grand tutor is
Yeah.
basically
Who's
the
like
guy who's
his-
taken in charge.
His advisor,
Yeah, his main advisor.
his intelligence
He
guy.
suggests a contest between all the different clans of the kingdom to come together, and the winner will take on the role of Grand Field Marshal.
Yeah.
And he will organise this contest. He's prepared to do that for the king.
And the king's like, great idea.
Yeah, let's do it.
Send out the messenger eagles.
Yes.
And I'm like, brilliant, there's messenger eagles.
Yes.
And we get an eagle montage.
Yeah, the messenger eagles flying into different clans.
Yeah.
A title card hits over this sort of montage.
I want to point out, just as we get into sort of this kingdom that we're now going to visit, again, the sets
Yeah.
are brilliant in this movie.
Yeah, they are. It's parts of it are beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks really good. This town that we're going to stop in appears to be carved into a cliff face.
Yeah, I put it as like a quarry kingdom.
Yeah, they're kind of like big walls of granite everywhere, and the people just kind of live around them.
Yeah.
And they're people are queuing for water.
Yeah.
But there is no water left.
No.
We've run out of water for the day. Come back tomorrow. You might be able to get some water. And we meet a man for the first time. For the first time we meet... What are we calling this guy?
I've gone with Dong.
I've gone
which
with
I know is
Dong
his
as well.
surname, but that's what...
All the way through the movie he's called Yalong.
Yeah.
But his name's Dong Yalong.
Yeah.
So I've gone with Dong. So we meet Dong for the first time. He is going to try and steal some of this water.
He's kind of like... He's like Aladdin,
Yes.
isn't he?
Mischievous scamp.
Yeah, this sort of low-level thief
Yeah.
getting into trouble around the city.
Yeah. Aladdin's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
So he's kind of Mission Impossible into this room where the water is. He's upside down on a...
He gets it straight to the well, isn't he?
Propels down, yeah. and he gets caught basically
Yeah, he
trying
does.
to do this, and another fight breaks out. A big fight. People are chasing him. There's fighting going on in the town, and a young girl, as they're escaping, all the roads in this town, all the paths are all like scaffold. Are all on like scaffolding, and a young girl nearly gets crushed by some falling scaffolding.
Yeah, which he is knocked over basically.
He's
in his
knocked over by
attempt to
running
escape.
through it. Yeah, and she's rescued by Chew,
Yeah,
who is our other main character in this film. And Dong kind of realizes what's happened. He stops running. He's like, shit, I nearly killed a young girl then. That would have been bad. So he stops and he gets caught. And it's at this point that the messenger eagle shows up in this town.
Yeah.
And
they knock him out. They knock out Dong.
Yeah, they knock the Dong out.
Yeah.
And hang him upside down from like a gallows type thing.
I've written in my notes at this point, there's already been too much slow-mo in this movie.
There's a lot of slow-mo in this movie.
It's way overused.
I think it's a Chinese action trope, though, isn't it?
I'll come to it later on, but there's a particular sequence in this movie where the slow-mo is actually really good.
I know exactly what you mean as well.
But it made me go, that would have been better if you hadn't already used so much slow-mo.
I was just going to say, before you said that, there is one scene where it's really good. I assume we're going to talk about the same scene. Anyway, this messenger eagle shows up and it's got a message on it basically saying each clan must present 3 fighters to Phoenix City.
Yeah.
Which is where this film's going to
take place.
Got
to put a team together for this contest.
Yeah, to fight for this role. And obviously, if your city provides the Grand Marshal, that's going to give you huge benefits.
Yeah,
so
big power.
This is big for this clan. So they need to choose 3 people to go. Dong says he's up for it.
Yeah, well, no one here likes me.
Yeah, so I'll just go and do it. I'm hanging upside down at the minute. I'll go and do it. Chu is also like, he doesn't really want to go, but he's also like, I can see it. You can see in his eyes, I can see an opportunity here.
Yeah.
So he's up for going as well.
And then the third person who goes is I already said he's like a member of the police or security.
Yeah,
he's the guy who knocked out Dong.
Yeah, he's like
captured him.
Head policeman.
Yeah.
His name is inconsequential, as you will find out very shortly why. Then we have a brief flashback to Dong's birth, where his mum died during childbirth. And he's got this like comb, hasn't he, that's broken that he's kept of hers.
He doesn't know who his father is.
He doesn't know, yeah. And then, so these 3 guys just leave town.
Yeah, we find out that Chu is like ex-military.
Yes.
Because he carries this big spear around.
He's got this big broken spear that he carries around with him.
So off we go on our journey to Phoenix City.
Yeah, three guys. Don't really get along. Don't really know each other.
Into the desert.
It doesn't last for very long because...
Get attacked by mega scorpions, don't they?
Of course they do. Instantly, this huge fucking scorpion appears out of the desert and kills this third guy who never got
a name, the policeman guy.
Yeah. And they start fighting it. There's lots of slow motion fighting going on. The spears are flying, the swords are flying.
I actually thought the CGI scorpions were pretty good.
I agree.
Yeah.
I thought they were. I thought it looked good.
I think it was a really good action scene.
Yeah. The only gripe I have with the fight scenes in this movie, with all of the fight scenes in this movie, is they're not very long. They just
Do you think that was budgetary?
Possibly. They just didn't seem to last very long. I was just getting into them and I was like, oh, it's done now.
There's more drama to be had here.
Yeah, I think so. That'd be my big criticism.
Would you rather have had less but longer?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think
I'm with you.
I think I would. Anyway, they eventually fight it off and it flees these 2. I think there was 2 scorpions, wasn't there? They flee. So they decide to keep moving. But now they need a new teammate.
Yeah, they're trios down to 2.
They're on their way to this thing where they need to provide 3 members of a team. But unfortunately, there's only 2 of them now. Basically, this sequence then is where Chu is describing his history and the war.
So we're camping out at night and they're eating scorpion pincer, aren't they? Because they managed to chop a claw off one of them.
Yeah, so we get a bit of a flashback as he's talking, and basically people in the town know him as a deserter because he left the previous war.
Yeah.
But he was actually the only survivor of this battle.
Gory battle.
And I don't know how his spear got broke. It
was his brother's spear.
I thought it was his brother's spear.
His older brother was a sort of
legendary
warrior.
But he got killed during this battle.
Yeah.
And so Chu has got this spear.
Yeah.
And he's now...
He's in his brother's shadow.
Yeah. And it turns out he was murdered by this guy who is the Grand Tutor now of the Emperor.
Murdered Chu's brother, yeah.
Yeah. So this is his reason why he's going back. because he wants to kill this dude.
Yeah.
And he's hosting this tournament. That's why he's going. I've written here. We have a quick scene with the Grand Tutor now, and I put he seems to be up to something underhanded.
Yeah, he's got his generals together, and they talk about basically while people are occupied by the upcoming contest, they're gonna do
a coup. I think is basically what they're up to.
They want to destabilize the area.
Yeah, they need to start
so they can move
in. They need to start causing riots and moving on the king, basically. Then we see some girls, a girl being chased on some horses by some dudes.
Yeah, so they pass Dong and Chu in the desert.
Yeah, there's like a horse chase going on. We find out that they're the Lizard Clan, and they are chasing this girl. We don't really understand why at this point. But
she's stolen something from them.
Yeah, she's stolen like their
it's a badge
of honor. Sigil.
Yeah.
Good word. Nice use of the word sigil.
I don't know how you say it.
I'm going to say sigil.
Okay.
But we don't get to see them very long because suddenly a massive fucking sandstorm's come in.
Yeah.
Huge, great big thing.
Like Darude himself has come over the hill.
So all these Lizard Clan hunker down under their cloaks.
Yeah.
And so then the girl does as well. And Chu and Dong also get caught up in this.
And Dong is the only person with morals that we've met in this movie.
Yeah.
One of the Lizard Clan guys basically comes free. He's getting blown off by the sandstorm.
Dong's getting blown off. No.
So Dong helps him. He manages to grab hold of him.
Yeah,
and that makes Chu help as well.
Yeah, so there's like a train of three people.
This guy's life.
They save this guy's life. And then we cut to post sandstorm.
Yeah.
Chu is he wakes up in the desert under a load of sand. He gets unburies himself, and he starts shouting for Dong because he quite likes Dong. I think.
Look, who doesn't?
Chu and Dong. Yeah, he quite likes Dong, so he's like shouting for him. He's like, "Where is he? I need to find my friend." They're friends now. And Dong, he thinks Dong's dead. He finds something in the desert that's buried.
That's a horse.
Is it a horse?
Yeah,
sorry, I didn't catch it was a
horse's head.
A horse's head?
Yeah, it's like the Godfather, but Sandy.
Sandy Godfather. But eventually Dong's all right. He unburies himself. They're kind of bonding.
And the lizard guys come over. The lizard clan
come over and they thank...
They're like, thanks
for
saved
saving
our
us.
friends.
Here's a horse.
Here's a horse to help you on your journey.
Have a free horse.
We'll see you in the city.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
Because we're obviously going to the same place as you.
So Chu gets on this horse and
makes Dong walk.
Because
he's the
big...
the senior in the partnership. And Dong sees a woman in blue.
Yes.
Like a vision.
It's a vision of a woman in blue.
And Chu doesn't see her.
No.
And that's a new mystery for this movie.
It is a new mystery. And then they arrive at Phoenix City, which is the most video game name I've ever heard. You've mentioned
very much, isn't it?
It is. And all sorts of different people are arriving. There's tall people, there's short people, there's groups of warrior females. Yes. There's all sorts of different kind of people there. And then also the girl who they were chasing earlier has arrived.
Yes.
And some men approach her, and there's like a cafe area, isn't there, where they're all sitting having lunch. And some men approach her to kind of say, "You can't be on your own. What are you doing? What's going on here?" And it eventually ends up with another massive fight scene, which they all get involved in. She's got this massive fucking sword.
It's very cosplay-y, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
Again, very video game.
I feel like I might have seen people dressed as this character at some point in my Comic-Con career. Yeah, she's got this massive sword. And so they'll start fighting. She's fighting people off. Chu and Dong help her out. And eventually the Grand Tutor shows up with his wolf dog lion thing, which is a really cool piece of CGI.
Yeah, that's good as well.
It is. It's. I guess it mostly resembles a lion, as its size and stature, but it looks like a bear.
So I thought it was more dog.
Yeah, there's definitely dog to it too.
Yeah.
I think it was mostly a lion.
Yeah, lion dog.
Lion dog.
Yeah, I didn't get the bearness.
Did you not?
Much.
Well, it was quite big and mauly, wasn't it?
It had like... Yeah, but it didn't have bear paws. It definitely was...
Yeah, it had dog paws.
Dog or lion paws.
Yeah,
anyway.
True. Anyway, you get the idea. We'll put a picture of it in the Discord.
Everyone has to take the knee.
Everyone has to kneel to the Grand Tutor.
But Chu doesn't want to.
No. So Dong makes
he wants to kill this guy.
Yeah, he was literally going to kill him there and then.
So
He's only
Dong,
come here to that.
Through like sleight of hand, basically ties up a load of ropes.
Yeah, like
around
rigs
the
a pulley
bottom of
system.
the tables and stuff.
Which brings Chu to his knees.
Yeah.
So he has to kneel. Yeah. And basically, the tutor basically introduces the rules. He's like, it's been 8 years since the last tournament.
Yeah.
The day after tomorrow, it will start. Be there at noon, is what he says. And people are like, okay, see you in a couple of days. Dong and Chu do more bonding.
This is my favourite line in the film.
Go on.
And again, I'm not mistranslating. I'm going off the subtitles.
Yeah.
When Chu says to Dong, "Why are you always happy? You're a bastard." What have you got to be happy about?
Because Dong is quite a happy person, isn't he? He's a nice guy. He's always like helping people out. He's got a nice outlook on life, whereas Chu is the exact opposite of that.
They still need a third person.
They do still need to find a third. If they don't find a third, they will be disqualified. It's pretty clear where this is heading. But we get there in the end. 2 women have a fight in a cage, says my next note.
There's a slave market.
There is a slave market in the city.
So this is like their last day, free day before the tournament.
Got 3 days. Got a day off in the city.
And these slaves, are forced to fight.
Fight to the death, and then the winner of that fight gets put up for auction and becomes your slave.
Yeah.
One strangles the other one to death with a chain, which was pretty gruesome, to be fair, their fight. And then she gets put up for sale. And
she clocks Chu and his broken spear.
She clocks his spear before she clocks anything else.
And she's raging.
Yeah, she's not happy.
See that she's got this fire. So
she kind of sneaks up behind, because they're kind of walking around the crowd parading this woman off. And as they go behind Chu, she sticks his arm up, doesn't she? She pushes his arm from behind.
Pokes him in the ribs.
So his arm goes up and he bids on her and wins her. So he accidentally buys this slave that he doesn't want. And then just after that, so he's got this woman now chasing. I've just called her slave girl. I don't know if she was ever given a name.
She does get a name, but it's not till right at the end. So I can tell you a name.
Okay.
But I don't think we actually find it till a lot later on.
Okay.
Her name is Binu.
Binu.
Yeah.
Okay. No, so she's kind of just following him around for this fight, but she isn't very happy about it.
No.
And then the girl from the desert approaches them, and she says, "Look, I want to be your third person."
Yeah, I've heard you talking.
I've heard you. I need 2. You need 1. Let's get together. And to convince him, she plays a game of Fruit Ninja. I've read. She just throws some apples in the air and chops them in half. And Dong wants her in as well. He's like, "Yep, you can be the third." Chu's not so happy. He's not. Takes some convincing, but eventually they let her join. She's called Jin Gang.
Yeah.
Going with that?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Dong, meanwhile, still keeps getting these visions occasionally of a lady in blue.
Yep.
Really nice blue, nice shade of blue.
It's a lovely garment, wasn't it?
It was. What this lady was wearing was a lovely shade of blue. And then the slave girl, new book or whatever she was called.
Binu.
Binu, like the Beano. I'll remember it that way. She chops all her hair off.
Yeah, she has a bath.
She has a bath and chops all her hair off. And then she tries to kill Chu. She's not happy with him.
She kind of tries to sneak up on him, but this guy doesn't sleep.
No, he's
got the measure.
If he does, it's with one eye open. He knows what's going on. And she reveals that her father was killed by that spear
in the battle.
Because
she also survived this battle.
Yeah, she was a child, but she survived it, and she witnessed her father getting murdered by that very spear that Chu carries now.
And Chu, remember, who has already got a death wish.
Yeah,
he doesn't care if he is expecting to die in this tournament. He just wants to kill the Grand Tutor.
He actually says to her.
He says to her, "I will atone that debt with my death."
Yeah, I will give you my life,
but I just need to kill
this dude first. Yeah, and she's okay with that.
She's taken aback.
Yeah, she's like,
because she thought she was up for a scrap.
Yeah, but she's not.
No,
but she doesn't trust him, because we cut Len to the arena, and the arena's full of people. It's a massive, great, big.
This was amazing.
Great shot.
As the tournament begins, we pan back. It's like this Colosseum.
Yeah, huge, great, big. There must have been 1 million people in it. It was massive. And we're there, and the arena's full of people.
But Binu's kind of snuck in.
Yes, so she's hiding on top of a canopy.
Yeah.
With a bow and arrow.
Yeah, she's camouflaged.
She's camouflaged. She's
sniping position.
She's wearing the same colours as the canopy. It's quite clever, and she's just got this bow and arrow pointed at Chu the whole time, because as soon as he kills the Grand Tutor, she's going to kill him.
Yeah.
and he's going to kill the Grand Tutor as soon as he gets the opportunity.
Yeah.
But before that, we have to have round 1 of the tournament.
Of course we do.
And round 1 are the teams of 3 are all tied together at the waist.
Yeah.
And have to make it to the Grand Tutor's platform.
Yeah, they've got to climb.
Simple as that. But
not quite.
Not quite as simple as that. Because there are chains.
They've got to cross the middle of this Colosseum.
Yep.
Which has
like a grid
pit in the middle.
Yeah.
Filled with
spikes.
Big spikes.
Yeah.
Big sharp spikes.
Yeah.
And above that is a crisscross grid of massive chains.
Basically. And they're chained together.
Yeah, and each trio is chained together.
Yeah. So the first 3 clans to make it across will qualify.
Yeah.
So basically got to navigate through these chains.
Yeah.
Or over these chains.
To the platform.
And is this the point where you see your cool slow-mo shots?
Yeah, it's great.
It's incredible.
We're at the bottom of the Colosseum.
Yeah.
And there's about 8 teams.
Yeah.
And they
Maybe
just
more.
leap into action.
All at the same time.
Slow motion. Bearing weapons.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant.
It is.
And mid-leap, they start fighting with each other.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's a great shot.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's a little bit spoiled by the fact that a lot of slow motion
already.
Yeah. So they're finally balanced over these chains, over these spikes. And they're all doing battle. They're all fighting each other. And people are falling in, but either side of the chain. So
yeah, so if one goes, they're dragging their teammates down. And
it's really cool, actually. And then the king makes an announcement, and the chain starts
stage 2
spinning around.
Yeah.
So they're kind of moving around now as well.
The bowl starts, rotates.
Yeah. And then stage 3 happens, where loads of giant balls enter the chain as well.
Like huge boulders.
Huge boulder balls.
So they're
trying to knock people off.
Yeah, they're now rolling around.
This is a Squid Game, only better.
Rolling around on these chains. These are like huge iron balls.
Yeah. It's cool as fuck. It's a really cool
I wanted it to be longer.
That again, my problem is this: is nothing's long enough.
Yeah,
because they always seem to be rushing to get to the next scene. The first clan to qualify are 3 awesome warrior ladies.
Team V. Make it across.
Yep, they're the first team to make it. Our guys come second.
Yeah,
so they managed to make it across in second, and then there's a couple of teams left, and there's a
it's down to the final place seems to be down to a battle between the lizard guys who we met out in the desert and the falcons.
Yeah, cool name.
Yeah.
One guy got his leg caught in some chains.
Yeah, it's a falcon guy.
Yeah, is it a falcon guy? Okay. And his teammate bears no hesitation and chops his leg off straight away.
And they pick him up.
They pick him up, carry him over, and they end up coming third.
Yeah, they do.
So our lizard friends...
I think that was the falcons.
Yeah, that was the falcons that won.
The lizards.
Our lizard friends
don't make it. Yeah.
All the rest of the people who survive... Because not everybody dies, but not everybody makes it through either. They all get branded on their face.
Yeah,
branded like a loser. Like a loser. They're branded losers, literally. So then the Grand Tutor goes to meet his victors. He's got 9 people left.
Congratulates them on qualifying.
Yeah, he does. He's like, there's 9 people left now in the running. We've whittled it down very quickly to what it started from. And then he seems to recognise Chu's spear as well. And Chu's kind of holding back at this point.
Yeah. Because
he can't kill him in front of everybody. And he doesn't. He says, yeah, you might recognise my spear. It was my brother's. And he doesn't kill him. And so the slave girl also doesn't kill Chu.
Yeah.
And we move on. Game 1 is done.
Yeah, back here, we're covering that evening. Dong and Yin Yang bond over...
I had a drink in my mouth when you just said yin yang. I'm sorry.
They bond over not having mothers.
Yeah, I've written they flirt, but there's bonding and flirting going on. These two fall in love. Chu brings some food over to the slave girl.
Yeah, because he tells her, we've got to have strength to take our revenge.
Yes. And then just as he's giving her the food, somebody attacks him again.
It's the losers.
The losers attack him. And there's a big fight again. Yeah. Another big fight. Awesome, another cool slow-mo fight scene going on.
And Chu's basically got this theory now that they've been made. They're busted. The Grand Tutor knows that Chu wants him dead because he recognises him from this.
Yeah.
Well, the family.
It feels like the whole thing's now been set up.
Yeah.
To just to kill him.
Yeah.
They convince it because he's like done now.
She's like, yeah, I need to go.
I need to go. This is too dangerous. But they convince him that if he stays, he'll be able to avenge the whole of his clan.
Yeah, they say if you win this...
Because the Chu clan seems to have been killed off. He's the only one left.
They say if you win this contest and become the Grand Marshal, you can testify to the king against the Grand Tutor.
Yeah, because he killed off your entire clan.
And then Chu just literally turns around and goes, okay, we're going to the finals.
Let's go to the finals.
Go team.
Dong then goes off to get Yin Yang some food. And he stumbles across the slave girl who is drunk. And he explains his character a little bit. He's like, I've always wanted to protect the innocent.
Sure.
And then she goes off and releases all of the slaves.
She does.
From captivity.
Yeah.
And then she goes to sleep in one of the cages that's open.
Yeah.
And then round 2 starts. And round 2's mission is simple. Get the Beast King's eggs.
Of course.
That's all you've got to do. It doesn't sound good when there's a thing called the Beast King coming up, but I got quite excited.
I did as well.
Like, what the fuck is a Beast King? And why does it lay eggs? Get the eggs, bring them back. First team back wins.
Yeah.
Simple as that. We will be down to the last team. And we get a bit of a history on what the Beast King is, because they go off into the desert to find the Beast King.
Yeah, so when they're en route, we find out that it's one of the clans. I think they call it a war monster.
Well, it's exactly what they call it. They call it a war monster raised purely for war, and then after the war, it was abandoned here.
Yeah.
So it just lives now in this mountain. Yeah.
And
I've written here some cool CGI coming up, I reckon.
Yeah.
Well,
before the cool monster CGI, the camera pans back and we just see our trio on horseback approaching this mountain.
What a beautiful shot.
It's a beautiful shot.
It really is.
There's some beautiful scenery and, CGI in terms of background and cinematics like that.
Yeah.
It's where it fails is in some of the detail.
Yeah.
That's when some of the CGI
I think you're right. So they head off to this cave, and instantly, as soon as they walk in, pretty much, Chu gets poisoned by a flower.
Yes, he does, but he takes the hit.
Yeah, he takes the hit for
he basically dives in front of it, so Jing Jang doesn't get.
Because she's
poisoned.
like, oh, a pretty flower. So she goes to have a look at it. Chu gets flower poison in the face. He knows of an antidote, though. He's like, you must find orange moss, which will only grow in the dark.
That's right.
And they're in a cave, so they're like, well, there must be some in here somewhere.
Well, Dong rightly points out, well, if the poison's here, the antidote should be here somewhere.
It's like how there's always dock leaves next to a stinger.
Yeah.
So Dong and Yin Yang, whatever she's called, go off to try and find it. They kind of abandon their mission to get the eggs for the moment.
Yeah.
Even though there's other teams there, they're all trying to get these same things. They need to rescue their friend. So they go off to try and find this moss. The team of female warriors that won the first round do not fare well in the second round.
They get attacked by grass.
They get attacked by some massive grass and killed, basically.
Killer flowers everywhere.
Yeah, there is.
Like meat-eating flowers.
Yeah, and they instantly get murdered. They're done. They're out. They're done.
Yeah, Bookie's favourites.
Bookie's favourites.
Gone
in the second round. And the other team, the Falcons, find the egg quite quickly.
Yes, but now there's only 2 Falcons left.
Yes.
So that whole team of 3 thing didn't last very long. Do you only need
I think you just needed to start for the team. Yeah. You need to start for 3.
So the guy's got a leg off. He's not made it to this mission.
Well, no, you couldn't. He's got a leg off.
He might be hopping. Maybe he's just not quite caught up.
So they find these eggs and they pick up this egg, and then the Beast King attacks.
Yeah.
And we meet the Beast King for the first time.
The Beast King is a Chinese dragon.
Basically, yeah. It's a
I thought this was pretty good CGI.
I did as well. Some of it was practical as well, I think.
Yeah,
with the Beast King. Yeah, he kind of attacks. He's flying around this cave. He's a flying, like you said, flying Chinese dragon.
Yeah.
And in all the commotion of all of this, Yin Yang accidentally ends up with the egg.
It's basically...
She's not called Yin Yang. I can't say that.
It's
Jing Gang.
Jing Gang.
Yeah.
And they kind of sort of toss the egg.
Yeah, they did a little bit. But she ends up with it after all the commotion. She ends up with it. And so it starts chasing her, obviously, because it's the egg it wants. And as she's running back with this egg, the Beast King kind of gets stuck in a tunnel. Gets its head stuck.
Yeah.
And Jing Gang's above it at this point. She's kind of hanging from a stalagmite, whatever's in the ceiling. And she's above it. And while she's above it, she spots that there's some moss on its head.
On its helmet.
On its helmet. Yes, it's got a helmet. It was kind of part of its body, though,
Yeah.
wasn't it? So she's like, Dong, let's get some moss off this guy's helmet because he's stuck in this hole. So they do. They get down on its helmet. Stop it! You're so immature. It's all about dongs and helmets.
I know. I always is. Yeah.
And he manages to scrape some moss off. So we've now got the egg, and we've got the moss, and the Beast King's stuck in a hole.
Sure.
What could go wrong? So they do. They get back to Chew. They cure him straight away. Feed him the moss. He's happy again. And
They're about to leave with the egg. They've won.
They've won.
They've got the contest in the bag.
100%.
Dong's like, not so fast.
You go back.
Remember, I'm the one with morals in
I'm
this
the nice
movie.
guy. I'm going to go save the Beast King.
Yeah.
And he does. He manages, well, he tries to free it himself. He can't.
Yeah.
But luckily, the other two have come to help him. And between the three of them, they manage to free it. His helmet's stuck in this hole, which is never a good thing.
So it's basically, this helmet is like its armour from when it was a war machine.
Yeah.
And it can't...
It's got wedged on some rocks. Yeah, you can't take it off. It's
like grown... His head's grown around it.
Yeah. And it's got wedged in some rocks. So between the three of them, they managed to prise it off.
Yeah.
And you see all this like gloopy shit in its head. But the helmet comes off and the Beast King is free. And Dong says, look, we're going to take this egg. Please don't kill us. And I promise you, once the tournament's over, I will bring it back.
Yeah.
And you can have it back. And the Beast King agrees.
Yeah.
He's like, fine. He doesn't speak, obviously. He's a dragon. But he's fine. He's like, yeah, I'll allow that. And they leave with the egg. And then the next thing we see is the other survivors, the two guys from the Falcons, I think, were branded losers again.
Yes.
So all we've got left now, we've basically won this tournament.
Sure.
Our team have won. They're the only team surviving. However, there's a twist.
The tutor's like, not so fast.
Not so fast, peasants.
I only need one winner.
Yeah. You must fight to the death.
Yeah.
Brenner, that was obvious.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody, apart from those three, saw that coming. And then, so they go and have a bit of a chat.
Yeah, later that night.
They can't even concede, we'll let you win. They're not even allowed to do that. There can only be one survivor. So they're having a bit of a chat about what they're going to do. And then the woman in blue shows up.
Yeah, now they can all see her.
Now they can all see it. Yeah, she's like, she was a vision, now she's not. And she's like, I can help with this. I know what to do. Come to the mystical forest with me. And they do. They all go off to the mystical forest.
Yeah.
And basically, she's giving them some more backstory of who they are.
Bit of a vision quest.
Yeah. So Dong finds out that he's actually from Northern Yan,
Yeah.
which is not a good thing because that's who Chu was fighting in the war.
Yeah, it's like the opposition to the king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The enemy is basically. And that's where he's from. But
basically,
he
don't you remember those assassins right from the start?
Yeah.
It's where they were from.
Wherever they were from. I've written, that's bad for some reason. But you do get it explained. And Chu, so he has royal blood as well.
Yeah.
He's got this tattoo on his arm that's, well, it's not a tattoo, it's like part of his skin.
Yeah.
But that means he's royal. The other two then decide, well, we can't be associated with somebody from Northern Yan, no matter who you are.
Yeah, sure.
So they're like, leave him. Chu and Yin Gang both leave.
It's like in The Simpsons when the Springfieldians can't hang around with the Shelby.
Exactly, that's exactly what it's like. It's a great show.
She's like, yeah, I can't be seen with you.
Yeah. So, but then she stops after a few minutes. Sorry. And she says to Chu, meeting you two was my greatest pleasure. We can't do this. We need to go back for him.
We're a team.
Yeah.
And the woman in blue is saying to Dong, you need to go home.
You need to go back to
bring
Northern
your
Yan.
kingdom together.
Go back to Northern Yan, claim the throne, and that will restore peace to the kingdom.
But clearly Dong doesn't want to because he's like, we've got to finish here first.
Yeah, of course we have.
My friends, I've got to help my friends.
Yeah. So then Chu and the slave girl have a bit of a chat. She ends up forgiving him.
Yeah.
And she just then leaves.
This was weirdly placed.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So she just leaves. And then Chu decides Jingan's gone back now to find Dong. She loves Dong. And Chu then goes back to find her.
Yeah. So they're all now wandering around this forest trying to find
each other. And when he finds her, she's fighting loads of dudes.
Yeah, it's the Grand Tutor's
The Grand Tutor's army's basically turned up. Because he knows that something's going on.
He just wants to kill all three of these.
He just wants to kill all three of them and be done with it.
Declare the contest void.
Yeah. So Chu helps her fight off these guys. And then this is quite a gruesome scene. To be
Man,
fair.
I find this really quite affecting.
Yeah, I agree. So she kind of goes down. Well, he stabs her in the leg, doesn't he? And then he's got this massive sword, and Chu surrenders himself to start with because
he's
the
like, don't
Grandmaster's
hurt her
like,
if you want me.
the Grandmaster's going to kill Yin Gang here,
Yeah.
and he's like, don't kill her, kill me. I'm the one you want. And the Grand Tutor's like, yep, capture this guy then. But then he just kills Yin Gang anyway with her own sword.
Really slowly,
it's horrible.
Stabs her in the base of her spine.
Buries this massive sword into her back.
And there's the sound. She's screaming. It's horrible. And I found it quite emotional.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
No, I agree. It was horrible. And then the Grand Tutor says, there is nobody left to fight. Start the riots.
Yeah, they seem to have forgotten Dong.
Yeah, they've forgotten about him.
Yeah. Because they didn't see him as a threat, I guess.
Yeah, obviously not. So, yeah, and he says, start the riots.
And they haul Chu away.
Yes, so they do. Dong then comes back and finds Yin Yang's body dying. Well, she's not dead yet, but she's dying, very much dying. And she says, you must save Chu. They've taken him. You must save him. And then she dies in his arms. It's very beautiful. And Dong adheres to her wishes. He goes back to try and save Chu.
Yeah, he goes back to Phoenix City and he meets up with the lead Falcon Clan guy.
Yeah.
And says, I need help. I need backup.
Yeah.
Can you...
Because they're all leaving, aren't they?
Yeah.
All the losers are leaving town. They're all going back to their clans.
Try and round up
everybody,
all the other warriors that are still left from this tournament?
Yeah.
And will you help me overthrow the Grand Tutor?
Yeah. And meanwhile, the Grand Tutor convinces the king to execute Chu.
Yeah, because he says, this guy we've caught this guy in the forest.
Yeah.
He was planning to assassinate you.
Yeah. So he convinced him to execute him. And just as he's about to be executed in the middle of this massive arena, where the crowd still are, they just sit there now. That's their job. Dong comes in just in time and stops it happening. And Dong's like, this guy has betrayed me. I want to fight him. Either way.
Let's finish the tournament.
He's going to die either way.
Just the two of us left.
Yeah. He's going to die either way, so it doesn't matter to you.
Dong gets him on a technicality because he says, if you won't let me fight him and you're going to execute him, that means I win.
Yeah.
And I'm the Grandmaster.
Yeah.
And the Grand Tutor doesn't want that.
Yeah. Of course he doesn't. So they agree. The crowd want it as well. They want to see a fight.
And I think from the Grand Tutor's point of view, it makes sense because the best he can hope for is that they just pretty much kill each other in this fight.
Basically. That's what he's hoping for. We cut briefly, there's a team of losers now heading back to the town.
Yeah.
They're all on horseback. They're all heading. They're going to take on the Grand Tutor. They don't really want to, but they know they've got to restore peace to the kingdom. And Chu and Dong are in the arena. And they basically they say to each other, let's stay alive together.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really nice line, actually. And the crowd start fighting. There's riots going on in the town now. It's all kicking off. All the police are fighting everybody.
And it's revealed...
The losers come back to town. They're starting fighting everybody.
And it's kind of revealed at this point that the Grand Tutor is actually a mole.
Yeah. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
We knew, but he's a bad guy. And he manages to trap the king, the emperor, in his throne room.
Yeah.
And locks it. Because the Grand Tutor's been building this entire city for the last however many years.
A long game.
And he's basically filled it with traps and booby traps. And so he traps the king in this throne room. Dong accidentally kills a dude at this point, which is the first time he's actually taken somebody's life. Because that dude recognised him as having this royal tattoo
they've got
on
the
his
same
arm.
mark on them.
Yeah. The dog lion thing then gets the slave girl.
Yeah.
It starts eating her. But they all band together to kill that thing. Yeah. So that thing dies. But then the slave girl dies in Chu's arms.
Yeah.
She's dead as well.
She's like, I forgive you.
It doesn't end well for females in this film.
No.
Every female in this film is killed.
Then how about this? This might be my favourite bit because it's just pure madness.
Yeah,
the Grand Tutor's obviously seeing things aren't going too well.
Yeah.
So he tries to make his escape.
Yes, he does.
So there's a load of secret switches in the stone walls.
Yeah. So he just walks past one, doesn't he?
Presses a switch. And again, this is this huge bowl. It starts to be filled with liquid.
Yeah.
I thought it was water.
I did. So I've written
it's
water.
oil. And it's like cascading down the front of all these skyscraper buildings.
Basically a massive elevator shaft in the middle of the city.
Yeah.
And I've written that the elevator shaft turns into a massive waterfall.
And this
but it's not water, it's oil. It's an oil fall.
And as we've said from the part one of this tournament, it's just a big bowl, this place, and it's just filling up with this oil.
And then my next note says, everywhere's on fire.
Yeah.
Literally this oil ignites and the whole city goes up. And the Grand Tutor's on top of this skyscraper and he's like, I'm going to go on a hang glider.
Yeah, I'm going to escape by hang glider.
Yeah, so why not? So he grabs this hang glider and tries to fly off over the city. But just as he's taking off, Dong jumps and catches onto the wing.
Yeah.
So now they're both on this hang glider. And the king's trapped. He's trapped in his throne room. Dong and the Grand Tutor then have an awesome fight on a hang glider.
Yeah, mid-air.
Great, mid-air.
Swooping up and down over this city.
Chu and another dude are trying to save the king. They're trying to break the door down to this chamber. There's 3 of them, I think. And they just manage to get the door down before the whole place explodes.
They do.
And one of the guys
gets... the Falcon guy gives his life to save the king,
he dies. Then the hang glider crash lands into the middle of the arena, which was quite handy because that's where it needed to be. And Chu and Grand Tutor get their fight.
Yeah.
They have their fight scene. And it lasts for probably less than 2 minutes, and it was really disappointing because I needed to see that fight last a little bit longer. But the Grand Tutor ends up with his throat impaled on a statue of a snake, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's minging, but it's cool. It's a good visual.
Fight wasn't long enough, it was a good death.
It was a good death, but it needed to be a good few minutes longer, that fight, because we'd been building up to that fight all the way through.
It wasn't a climactic enough showdown.
No, it wasn't. Because that's it. That's the end. That's the end of the third act of this film, I guess. Because we've just got to
give out some
epilogue
awards
now. Yeah. So Chu is given the title of Grand Marshal. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jin Gang is given a posthumous title because she's been killed in this battle, and Dong gets.
The king says, "Dong, what can I do for you?"
And he's
I'm pretty sure he could have asked for more.
He could have asked for anything in the world, I think. And he says, "Can I just go back to the Beast King's lair and give him this egg back?"
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then what are you going to do when you've done that? So he does. There's a massive statue of Jin Gang that's been constructed.
Huge statue of Jin Gang.
It's just in the middle of where the arena was.
Yeah.
That's just there now.
And the lads then just go and visit.
The lads. Dong and Chu go and visit Jin Gang's grave.
Yeah.
Where it's not where she was killed, but they've erected this monument to her. And then Dong and Chu go their separate ways.
Dong says, "What are you going to do?"
Yeah.
And Yang,
Chu
says to Dong, "What are you going to do?" Dong says, "I've got
to go home.
Do what the woman in blue said. I need to go home and take my place in the kingdom." And Dong says, "I thought this was quite emotional."
It was emotional. It's a great little line as well.
Dong says, "I understand."
Yeah,
but that means this is the last time we can speak.
Never to meet again, or if we do, there will be war between us.
Yeah,
because even after all of this, Chu's not forgiving that Northern Yan territory.
Yeah,
and that's the end of your film.
They part ways. Yeah.
They part ways and the film ends. Apart from a short post-credit scene a little bit later on. You always know on Netflix when the free trailers pop up at the bottom. Yeah. And so if they don't pop up, you know something's coming. So I've got used to that now. It's basically Dong returning the egg to the Beast King. Yeah. And that is the end of the film.
Sure.
What do you think of Double World, Nick?
Oh, man, this is a journey. This is a trip.
It's an epic, isn't it?
I really enjoyed it. It's not perfect. Parts of it are not good.
Shonky.
Yeah. But I was invested. The bits that aren't good are balanced out by some of the shots that look beautiful.
Yes, I'd agree with that. It's a lot of fun.
There's no dub to this movie, which we mentioned. I don't think it's the best set of subtitles we've ever seen.
Probably not, no.
But I was along for the ride.
I don't like making notes on these movies whilst also trying to read subtitles. I've made that very clear in the past. But I actually didn't mind it so much in this. I kind of got used to it.
It's a reasonably basic story.
It's a basic dialogue. There's not a lot of dialogue. Yeah. And it was actually, once you got into it, it's actually a really easy movie to watch. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
I thought the 3 leads had a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
And they played off each other really well.
The guy who plays Dong is really, really good.
Yeah.
He's the highlight.
I was not so taken by... I don't think we ever really got that level of villain. I thought every time the Grand Tutor turned up, I was like, oh, go back to the contest. I'm more interested in that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
But maybe that's just a bit of a balance thing. But look, I mean, especially, like I say, the sweeping shots of them travelling across the country, or, you know, the cities, both Phoenix City and the sort of clan base where Dong and Chu come from, look brilliant.
Yeah.
I liked the action set pieces, but I wanted a bit more from probably all of them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The fight scenes are not long enough.
I do
the action
feel that
set
is
pieces
probably
are not.
budgetary.
Yeah, it is 100%.
Reasons.
Definitely.
Look, this is chock full of ideas. They don't all hit, but I really like the ones that worked for me. I really like the core stages of the tournament. I really liked.
Yeah.
When they're fighting on those chains, it's great.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. It's probably the highlight of the movie.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I did like the War Beast.
Yeah.
Task as
well.
well.
The Beast King.
The Beast King. This is a fun time.
It reminded me a lot of you have to kind of throw your mind back a long time here, but remember when we watched Revenger?
Yeah.
That was like a fun little action movie that was just silly. And it was.
This isn't as brutal.
No, it isn't as brutal as that, but it just has that same like. No, it's not a comedy, but it is quite.
There's
fun.
a few light.
There's a few lighter moments in it. It doesn't take itself seriously at all.
No.
And I really liked that. I thought it was just nice to it was a bit refreshing to have something fun and entertaining to watch.
And I think as well, one of the reasons why, you know, I enjoyed it and I was invested and it sort of zoomed by for me was that we, again, chiefly for budgetary reasons, we don't see many movies on this show that are this epic in scale.
No, definitely not.
We see small character pieces or, you know, few locations, and that's fine.
In terms of epic mission movies, this is probably the best one we've seen.
It's big scale, isn't it?
You can see why they wanted this to have a full cinema release worldwide.
For being on bottom of the stream, this is a big scale.
Yeah, it is
movie.
Yeah,
I had a lot of fun.
What's the best thing about it?
I don't know if it's just the inventiveness of the set pieces.
Yeah.
Because that is bonkers where they're trying to avoid the balls, not fall down the spikes, balance on the chains.
And a lot of people do fall on those spikes, and it looks really cool when they do. And
But having said all that about the scale and how nice this looks sometimes, I'm tempted to go with the performance and the charisma between the three leads.
The three leads are all great.
Because I think if they don't have that together, this movie doesn't hang together.
Doesn't work at all. I think that's fair.
I was invested in all three characters.
Yeah, same. What would you change about it?
In an ideal world, can they have a bit more money to spend?
Yeah, I'd need my fight scenes to be longer.
It is rough around the edges in parts. Yeah. And some of those action set pieces just fell a bit short for me. Like we said, that climactic fight between Chu and the Grand Tutor.
I needed 5 minutes
up to its billing.
I needed 5 minutes of that, and I got less than a minute, I would imagine. So yeah, that's what I'd change. Cool. Do you want to talk stream table?
Sure.
I don't know if you agree, but season 4 has started strong.
I think I have enjoyed all 4 of these movies.
Same. It's a really strong start to a season.
There's different levels within that, but overall, all 4 of them there's been something I've liked in all of them.
Yeah.
And I've finished them all and gone, I
had a
pretty good time.
Really strong. Any one of them could be at number 1.
And when you compare to the start of last season, we had a real tough start.
Really tough.
I've had a good time.
Currently number 3 in the stream table is The Cleanse. Currently number 2 is The Giver. And currently number 1 is last week's movie, Old People. All 3 of them went to number 1 in their first, as they were released, episode-wise.
Yeah.
What do we say for this one?
Do you know what? If this was like a live table as I was watching this movie, Double World, this probably moved around a bit for me.
Yeah, I'd agree
in this
with that.
small list of 4 movies. And I think there was a point, probably a bit earlier on in this movie, that I thought this might have a good chance of being top.
Yeah.
Ultimately, for me, I think it doesn't quite beat Old People.
It doesn't. I don't think it beats The Giver either, if I'm honest. I think it sounds harsh, but I think it goes third. But they're all fucking strong movies. Third is not a bad thing in this for me.
I don't think you know what I'm going to say.
I know exactly what you
I'd have the second.
I know you would. And we've I don't know how we resolve this Giver argument because it's going to happen every fucking week.
It's personal preference.
It is personal preference. I have no issue with this going second. I mean, this is a great movie. All four of those movies are great movies. So I will not argue with you putting this into second.
That would be my preference.
Because I feel like I need to keep this argument back for the future. So just purely because it's so different to what we normally do, I will go for second with this for you.
It's fun.
It is fun. It's so much fun.
It's the most fun of the four.
Definitely. 100%. It's the most fun we've had in a very long time.
As an overall package, in terms of quality, it's not as good as Old People.
No, it's not. I genuinely think we're going to struggle with beating Old People. Which shouldn't be a problem. We should be easily able to beat Old People. But... Second?
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to pick next week's film?
Yeah.
What do you want? Can I say what I'd like?
Yeah, please.
I'd like something terrible.
Something terrible?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit unnerved by how much I've enjoyed the first
Me
four
too.
movies.
I just want to watch something terrible that we can laugh at. Not go, this film's fucking brilliant. I feel like we're getting boring.
You never know what we're going to get from
you
the
don't.
randomizer.
Robin will give us whatever he wants to give.
Gee.
Do you want me to press the button?
Yes, please.
Oh, the button moved just as I was about to press it. Robin's teasing me. It has picked a movie with a fantastic name, Nick.
Okay.
We are going to be watching next week Needle in a Time Stack.
Oh, God. All right, okay.
Sounds like a time traveling movie, do you reckon?
It does sound like that.
Do you want the synopsis?
Yes, please.
According to IMDb, it's a drama, fantasy, romance, sci-fi.
Okay.
Nick and Janine live in marital bliss. That's not you. Until Janine's ex-husband warps time to try to tear them apart.
Oh, sure.
As Nick's memories disappear, he must decide what he's willing to sacrifice in order to hold on to or let go of everything he loves.
That's fine. I love the fact the synopsis just sort of waves over the fact that the ex-husband creates a time warp.
Yeah, it's just what happens.
Fine.
It's a timey-wimey romantic fantasy movie. Do you
Yeah,
know who's in it?
I'm in.
Do you want to know who's in it?
Yes, please.
Leslie Odom Jr.,
Okay.
Frida Pinto,
Oh, yeah.
and Orlando Bloom.
Oh, wow.
Why not?
Wondered what he'd been up to.
You know what he's been up to. Been up to that. So yeah, go out and watch the amazingly titled Needle in a Time Stack. And we'll be back. No, I've not done the socials. What do I do? What do I say? Go and watch Needle in a Time Stack. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast on all three of them. If you want to drop us an email, our email address is bottomofthestream@gmail.com. And our website is bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all the stream tables, and loads of other cool stuff. And you can even buy some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream
Gigantic foam finger.
I really want one of them now. After you've done all of that, head over to Patreon. Patreon.com/bottom of the stream. On there, for a couple of quid every month, you will get early access to episodes. You will get bonus episodes. You will get a newsletter that Nick writes every month. And if you come in at the top level, you will get a wild card, which means that you can pick the movie we watch. We'll give Robin the week off, and we will do a whole episode on the movie you picked. And you might even win a prize. And then when you've done all of that, head over to Discord. We plug in the Discord link a lot this week. In the Discord, you will meet a group of wonderful movie lovers, great people who have a fun time. We play games, we do lots of chatting, we talk about all sorts of bullshit. And we do watch-alongs. We do the watch-along recently. We've got another one planned. We'll probably do a Christmas watch-along at some point before
sure.
Christmas. So yeah, the Discord link will be in the show notes, right at the bottom.
If you can spare a few minutes, please leave us a review or a rating anywhere you can review and rate podcasts, because it really helps get some attention to us. Find new listeners, find new friends. Watch some movies. Spread the word.
Exactly
we're
right.
on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, all the podcast places. Come on,
Anyway, you can get a podcast. Let everybody know. Tell your friends, tell your mum, tell your nan. And then go, when you've done all that, take them to go and watch Needle in a Time Stack.
Yes.
I've loved the name of this movie.
Can it live up to the title?
I hope
Let's
so.
find out next
Let's
week.
find out. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.